Hoi An is not just a beautiful town in Vietnam. It is a place where history still glows at night. Behind the lanterns, behind the yellow walls, and beside the quiet river, there is a story of trade, culture, and time itself. Today, we are exploring Hoi An in a deeper way, not just as a tourist destination, but as a place shaped by history, culture, and human connection. If you only know Hoi An for its lanterns, there is much more waiting behind the light. Hoi An is located in central Vietnam. It belongs to Quang Nam province near Da Nang. Today, it is one of the most famous travel destinations in the country. But long before tourism arrived, Hoi An was already an important place. Its location near the Thu Bon River made it a natural meeting point between land and sea. And that river changed everything. From the 16th to the 18th century, Hoi An was one of the busiest trading ports in Southeast Asia. At that time, foreign merchants knew it as FIFO. Ships came here from China, Japan, and later from Europe. They brought silk, ceramics, spices, paper, tea, and many other goods. But they also brought ideas, beliefs, customs, architecture. Hoi An was not built by one culture alone. It grew through exchange. Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, and other communities all left their mark on this town. That is why walking through Hoi An today feels like walking through layers of history. What makes Hoi An special is not only its age, it is the way different cultures still live together in the same space. You can feel it in the architecture. You can see it in the temples, the assembly halls, and the old wooden houses. Some details feel Chinese, some feel Japanese. Some are deeply Vietnamese, and somehow none of it feels out of place. Everything blends into one identity. That identity is Hoi An. This is why the town feels so different from many other destinations. It is not just preserved, it is layered. One of the most striking things about Hoi An is the look of the old town. The houses are narrow but deep. Many of them were designed for both business and family life. The front was often used as a shop. The inside and the back were used for living. The famous yellow walls are also part of Hoi An's identity. They reflect sunlight softly. They create warmth. And at night, under lantern light, they give the whole town a golden glow. Nothing feels too loud here. Even beauty feels calm. Places like Hoi An matter for a simple reason. They remind us that cities are not built only with stone and wood. They are built with memory. Every old street tells us something about trade, family, belief, and daily life. In modern cities, many things change quickly. Buildings disappear, neighborhoods lose their character. But in Hoi An, much of that older rhythm still survives. And maybe that is why so many visitors feel emotionally connected to it, even if they do not fully understand why. One of the most famous landmarks in Hoi An is the Japanese covered bridge. It is small, elegant, and full of meaning. This bridge is believed to have been built by the Japanese community centuries ago. Today, it stands as one of the strongest symbols of Hoi An's past. Many travelers stop here for a photo, but the bridge represents something deeper. It reminds us that Hoi An was once truly international. Long before modern tourism, different communities were already connected here. Hoi An was never isolated. Its story was always about connection. Connection between river and sea, between local people and foreign merchants, between business and belief, between everyday life and cultural exchange. That is what gives Hoi An its quiet depth. It reminds us that travel is not a modern idea. People have always moved. They have always traded. They have always shared stories across borders. Hoi An is one of the places where that global history still feels personal. During the day, Hoi An feels warm and textured. You notice the walls, the doors, the old rooftops, and the narrow streets. But as the sun begins to set, the town starts to change. The light becomes softer, the streets become slower, and the entire place feels more intimate. That transition is part of Hoi An's charm. It is not only beautiful at one moment, it changes beautifully over time. Of course, no story about Hoi An is complete without the lanterns. They are the image most people remember. But the lanterns are not only decoration. They reflect tradition, craft, and atmosphere. As evening falls, Hoi An changes completely. The streets become softer, the river begins to shine. The lanterns turn the town into something dreamlike. And yet it never feels fake. That is the beauty of Hoi An. It is romantic, yes, but still deeply rooted in real life and local culture. The lanterns of Hoi An are also connected to craftsmanship. They are made by hand. They carry color, shape, and tradition. When you see hundreds of lanterns hanging above the streets, you are not just seeing decoration. You are seeing local skill. You are seeing a tradition passed from one generation to the next. That is another reason Hoi An feels alive. Its beauty is not mass-produced. It is made by people. If you visit Hoi An during the full moon festival, the experience becomes even more special. In some areas, electric lights are reduced, and the old town returns to a gentler, older rhythm. On the river, people release small floating lanterns as a symbol of hope, peace, and prayer. Some people come for the photos, some come for the atmosphere. But almost everyone leaves feeling something. Hoi An has that kind of power. Hoi An is not a place to rush. It is a place to slow down, to walk instead of hurry, to notice the texture of an old wall, to sit in a quiet cafe, to hear the river at night, to watch light reflect on water. This is one of the rare places where doing less actually helps you experience more. And maybe that is why so many people fall in love with it. If you ever visit Hoi An, the best advice may be this: do not rush. Do not turn it into a checklist. Walk slowly. Take one street at a time. Look into the details. Sit somewhere quiet. Hoi An is one of those places where the experience becomes richer when you stop trying to see everything at once. Sometimes the best part of travel is simply learning how to slow down. And before we leave, just one small taste of Hoi An. One of the town's most iconic dishes is khao lao. It is simple, balanced, and deeply local. Not as famous internationally as pho. But in Hoi An, it feels exactly right. A quiet dish for a quiet town. Just like the city itself, it does not need to shout to be remembered. Some places are impressive only the first time. But Hoi An is different. People return here not just for photos, but for a feeling. A sense of calm, a sense of memory, a sense that the world can still move slowly somewhere. And in a time when so many places begin to look the same, Hoi An still feels like itself. That may be its greatest beauty. Hoi An is beautiful, yes. But beauty is only the beginning. What stays with people is something deeper. The feeling of walking through a place where history has not disappeared. A place where culture is still visible in daily life. A place where light, architecture, ritual, and memory still belong to the people who live there. Hoi An is not just a town to photograph. It is a town to experience slowly, to listen to feel. And maybe that is the real story behind its charm. Not just what we see, but what still lives underneath. If you enjoy travel stories told through history and culture, subscribe to Adida Travel Stories. We begin with Vietnam and continue to the world beyond. See you in the next story.